Oil or fat? Would you like to know which one is better for cooking? Or which one is more healthy? Today I'm gonna show you how to cook and render fat at home from scratch, and also we're gonna find out together how to use it. So let's roll! Okay, first of all, I like to mention that fat and oil is not our enemy. Just to be clear, you can use them, eat them because they are so tasty and your body needs that as well. The key is to consume it in a smart way, like anything else you eat. You don't want to use a cup of oil when cooking, but a few drops or tablespoons will give a nice taste to your meal, and it's also good for your metabolism, and it can absorb certain vitamins and minerals in your body. Now there is a main difference between fat and fat. It can be saturated or unsaturated. But what does it mean and which one is better? Fats that are packed with simple bonds between the fatty acids are called saturated fats. Unsaturated fats are loosely packed. So to make it straight and easy, our body processes unsaturated fats more easily than the saturated ones, so if I have to simplify extremely, unsaturated fats are more healthy. Or at least you gain weight much likely if you eat only saturated fats. But again, if you eat too much of it, it doesn't matter, so make sure to consume them moderately. Saturated fats are usually solid at room temperature, but here you go, just a few examples. What are they? Coconut oil is one of them maybe, just like an ordinary butter, or pork and duck fat, and so on. On the other hand, the following are gonna be some unsaturated fats, which are usually liquid at room temperature. Olive oil, yeah, that's the best known of them, or canola oil, and the fat content of most nuts. All that being said, it's time to use them and cook something delicious. But I would like to find out if there is any difference between using fat and oil. So in this video I'm gonna make a deep fry dish and a pan fry one, and also a confit. I'm gonna use lean chicken breast just because it has a neutral taste on its own, so I can find the differences between the flavor and the methods more easily. Alright, let's jump in. First experiment I'm gonna try today is the deep fry one. For that I prepare my chicken breast and I cut it diagonally with the grain. Therefore I get different textures out of only one slice of chicken. Then I season it on both sides with salt and some freshly ground black pepper. But I don't want to over season it in order to let the cooking fat flavor comes out at the end. When I've done with that, I bread the breast in all-purpose flour on both sides of course, and then shake off the excess flour from it. After that I grab my skillet and top that up with cooking oil, and another one with duck fat. I like to heat them until 350 Fahrenheit or 175 Celsius, not higher, otherwise it might burn. When the oil reaches that temperature, I put my breaded chicken breast in there and cook it for 5 minutes on each side or until it gets golden brown. You should be looking for a crunchy texture and a nice color like this. When it's ready, I put them on the rack and wipe off some of the excess fat gently with a paper towel. And it's showtime. So this one over here is deep fried in the oil. And this one is cooked in the duck fat. I start with the first one and yeah, I'm not disappointed. It has a nice crunch and this one is a good sign for me. It's chickeny, moist, a classic deep fried chicken. I tell you, I love it. Crunchy from the outside and juicy in the inside. Nothing oilier coming through in the taste or in the smell. The meat dominates in this. An all-time favorite. That was a good one, but I'm really curious about the fat fried ones, so I dig in. It's also nice and crunchy, I like that. I expect this one has a strong fatty smell, but it's interesting because it has not. It's just like the other one, so I check out the taste. And a surprise for me again because it has nothing significant about it. A regular fried chicken, but with less chicken flavor than the other one. It is also not that juicy, maybe because I tried a thinner slice, but I go with a thicker one, and I think the same. It is also moist, but not as juicy as the oil fried one. I don't know what's the chemistry behind this, but it surprised me. I would go with the oil fried chicken 10 times out of 10. It has a much more juicy inside, more dominant chicken flavor, and a nice crunchy outside. Meanwhile, the fat fried one is lacking some of these properties. Okay, that was interesting and fun, but I'm not gonna stop here, so let's go make the next experiment, the pan fried one. I prepare my chicken just exactly the same way how I did before, so I cut the slices diagonally with the grain. I'm looking for this thickness again, so it's cool, and I can season it with salt and pepper. Then I preheat my skillet to medium heat and add 2 tablespoons of cooking oil in the first and 2 tablespoons of duck fat in the other one. Well, maybe a little less from the fat, cause man, that's a lot. I place the meat in there and cook it for 2 minutes on medium heat or until it gets a nice golden color. When you see that, it's time to flip it and cook it more on the other side as well until golden brown. Like any other pan-fried meat, it also needs some resting time, so I give them 5 minutes after cooking. And it's time to taste. This is the oily piece, and this is the fatty one. I start with the first again. Okay, nothing really outstanding. I know, it's chicken breast, not marinated, not made in sous vide, nothing fancy like that, just pan-fried with oil. But the smell is nice, definitely chickeny, you can feel it. Any component or aromatic from the oil is not noticeable or very well hidden. I check out the taste and okay, same thing, a piece of chicken breast with subtle chicken taste, and I can feel the salt and the pepper as well. It's not bad but pretty ordinary, and I didn't get anything from that oil, so let's move on. Alright, this one is the fatty piece, let's see. Looks like a bit dry. Grilling or any other method would have been a better choice for this meat where I can apply very high heat. But this experiment is about fat and oil, so I forget the texture and concentrate on the smell and flavor. And guys, this one has a very unique fragrance. I can smell the fat and it's a little bit like duck-ish. You know what I mean? So it's a bit confusing because I can see the chicken breast, but it smells like duck for me. Alright, but check out the taste as well and okay, it's good. It's chicken. I'm sure about that after this bite. Despite the fact that this one has a strong duck fragrance, in a good way, it also tastes chicken. So yeah, I'm not sure which one I like better, cause it has a difference only in the smell. So I would choose maybe the oil this time, only because it's a bit more healthy, you know. Alright, that was fun, but there is one more experiment to go. I'm gonna confit the chicken breast. But what is a confit? It's a super easy way to make incredible tasty and juicy meat. Confit is a classic French cooking method that produces silky and juicy, tender meat that can be preserved as well. It means cooking the meat in its own fat slowly. But hey, you can also cook anything on low heat in any fat, so the method is the same. Originally it's made from duck, but you can use this method for almost any meat and even veggies. The preparation is easy. There is one important thing that you should pay attention. You don't want to season the meat and put straight in the fat, because all the seasoning would dissolve in there. So you have to dry brine your meat first. This time I don't cut the breast in the same way like before, just leave it in one piece and season it with only salt. Then I put it in the refrigerator for a few hours or until it literally soaks up the salt from its surface. That's the dry brining. Nothing fancy, it just needs a bit more time of preparation. Or well, waiting. Like passé preparation. After 2 hours the chicken is ready, so what I like to do is to submerge the whole piece of meat in vegetable oil and then duck it in another pot or saucepan. I set my oven at 250 Fahrenheit or 120 Celsius. Put the lid on the pot and say goodbye for the meat for 2 hours. After 2 hours I take out the chicken from its bath and it's time to taste it. I start with the first one I made in the oil. And guys, let me be honest with you, I've made duck and pork and even rabbit confit before, but never chicken breast. And I tell you, 2 hours of cooking is too much, even at low and slow. So yeah, it's super dry and almost crumbly. But the reason I keep this footage because the important thing in this video is the flavor, so it's time to taste it. And it's like a normal chicken breast which was pan-fried with some veggie oil. I found that no extraordinary taste is present. So, okay, dry, almost tasteless, it's gonna be good for rethink as a leftover food in a burrito or something. Okay, but let's see the duck fat confit chicken breast as well. And guys, I have to tell you that this one also looks quite dry, but on the other hand it has a nice aroma, a significant scent of the duck fat. It almost smells like duck breast, but yeah, it's a chicken. So let's dig in. And the taste, well, I'm not really into it. It has definitely more taste and character than the other one, but I'm not really convinced. The interesting fact that this one is a little bit, yeah, just a little bit more juicy. Not as dry as the previous one, but yeah, it's also dry after all. My thoughts are almost the same like it was before at the pan-fried experiment. I would go with the oil confit one because it's more healthy, if I can say that. Yeah, but I prefer the taste of the fat confit breast because it has a unique smell. So I would say it's a draw. Guys, you saw it. Cooking with fat usually results in a more dominant and flavorful piece of meat. But I also have a feeling that if I had used olive oil instead of vegetable oil, it would have had a different result. Maybe in another video, but for today's experiment I'd like to say unsaturated fat is winning. It's easier to use, a bit more healthy, it let the main ingredient remains the star of the show, and sometimes it also results by the texture. Just don't forget the balance in nutrition, whether you use fat or oil, do it moderately. And for those who are watching this video because of the homemade fat guidance, it's the time for it. It's quite difficult to get this stuff, but you will definitely need this one for the job. This is lard, duck lard with the skin and some meat as well as it was cutted. And it's not that challenging to make fat out of it, just open your kitchen windows because it has a really strong smell. So what I like to do is to remove any leftover feather from the skin with my knife, then I cut these pieces of lard into smaller ones, like 1 to 1.5 inches wide chunks. Then I put them in a pot and start to cook it. Just keep in mind that you need to apply low heat during the whole process in order to let the fat renders from the lard slowly. This process might last no longer than 1 hour, so don't be in a hurry. After 20 or 30 minutes you can notice the pieces of lard is floating in the fat and becomes more and more crispy as you cook it longer. When you see these parts get a nice golden brown color and shrinks drastically, you know it's a sign that it's ready. At this point I like to use my kitchen strainer and take out the lard in a kitchen towel. You can add some salt to it and eat them cold with a piece of bread and mustard. And you can also crush it to make a crazy but incredibly tasty seasoning out of it that you can use in stews, meats, ragouts, etc, etc. This little bad boy is not the healthiest thing, just don't forget, but it's amazing, crunchy and super tasty. And this one over here is the render fat. You can use it right away and you can store it in the refrigerator for up to 1 month. In the cold it becomes solid, so it's also handy, you can even make a pie crust using it. So what are you waiting for? But anyway, thank you so much guys for watching this video, and if you liked it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hopefully see you in the next one. Take care, cheers!